Welcome to the Sneaking Into the Spookies podcast. I'm Norman Davis.
And I'm Max Nathan. And this week, we're talking about the 2022 Speak No Evil.
Let's get Dutch. Spook in with us, and let's go. I can tell you're a little confused right now. It's okay. We've all been there. Because there was an American movie called Speak No Evil starring James McAvoy that came out last year. It's not the movie we're talking about. That is a remake of the movie we were talking about that came out in 2022. I know that sounds a little crazy. And we already got a Hollywood remake of a movie from 2 years ago. But that's how Hollywood works. So, Max, you want to tell me what this movie was about?
Yes, I do. You're throwing my deeply American mind into the deep end here a little bit, but let's get Dutch. So, a Danish family visits a Dutch family they meet on a holiday in an effort to spice up their ordinary lives, but their perfect weekend getaway turns into a symphony of unpleasantness as the Dutch couple push every social boundary in the book. That's what both movies are about, pretty much. And I saw the American one first, full transparency, and I liked it. And there are some key differences between both. And you haven't seen the American one, right?
No, that trailer drove me nuts. There's always one trailer that plays for every movie for a couple months that just pisses me off. The Flash is one that comes top of my head. But Speak No Evil, I hated that trailer.
I had a similar experience. I thought the trailer for this movie, or the American movie, was pretty excruciating. It played in theaters for such a long time. It was one of those unavoidable trailers. But I heard it had good word of mouth, and I heard the original was good, and I liked James McAvoy. Checked it out. I liked the American one. But that wasn't the first I had heard about the movie. I first heard about the 2022 original Speak No Evil when Zach Krieger was going on his Barbarian press tour, and he mentioned how much he liked this movie. And that tracks, honestly, when you look at his work and look at what this is about.
Especially Barbarian.
Yeah. They're very similar in a lot of ways, which we'll get into. But, yeah, no, I love Zach Krieger, so I had to check this out, and that's why we wanted to do this episode. The original movie was premiered on January 22nd, 2022 at Sundance. In September 2022, it was released in the United States through Shudder and IFC. In April 2023, Blumhouse announces the remake. So that's how fast this whole thing went. And the remake was obviously released in September 2024. So in a span of 2 years, this movie got released, or it premiered, it got distribution, it got a remake announcement, and the remake was released all in a span of 2 years. So that's pretty nuts.
Crazy.
The remake was actually one of Blumhouse's biggest hits of it's actually the highest grossing Blumhouse film of 2024. On a $15 million budget, it made $76 million worldwide, so that's pretty good.
Wow.
The original, much more modest on both fronts, budget and box office, but they're on Shudder, so they got a little Shudder deal. That's how they made their money there. So Norman, let's talk about the actual movie. What did you think?
I'm still a little conflicted. This was a hard watch, man.
No doubt.
This was a hard. I don't know about the American one, but this was brutal.
Yes.
This movie is designed to piss you off.
Okay.
I think.
How come? Why do you say that?
It was just so frustrating. I mean, just with the characters, there was so much horror logic of just making the stupidest possible decision you could to where you just want to pull your hair out.
Yep.
It just drove me crazy the entire time. I don't know.
I agree with you. I think that a lot of it is very it's a double-edged sword, I think, because so much of the mechanics of this movie deal with how people react in awkward situations, given social norms, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
And how do social norms prevent you from using your survival instinct when you need to? How does that happen? So naturally, there's gonna be a lot of stuff in this movie where you're gonna be scratching your head like, dude, was that the best move? Was that the best
Gotta
move
go
in
back
that
for the bunny.
situation? Yeah. Oh my god. So the bunny. Let's talk full spoilers for Speak No Evil, obviously. So they go back for the bunny, right? So you're talking about the bunny. But that's not even the first thing that happens. There's so many things that they do, the Dutch family, that is wacky and weird and just plain, if you saw someone do this, you'd either have to call it out or you'd have to get out. So, they obviously don't do that because they're having their own, it's a married couple in the movie and their kid. They're having their own issues within their marriage, seemingly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is, it's a very, very good example of show don't tell, in my opinion, this movie, because so much of it is just you observing these people rather than there's no like large, plot or lore or whatever. Yeah. It's just a lot of observational, social cues that you're looking at here. For example, one of the moments that I thought was interesting is like they both have their own encounter with main guy. What's his name? What's Dutch bro's name?
I'm bad with American names as is.
Oh yeah, they have Dutch names, so it's a little tough. But let's get this right. So yes, Patrick. Not
a Dutch name, but
yeah, they both have their own encounter with him individually, where they're in a very they're exposed. They're naked. Both of them are naked, and he is watching them when they're naked, essentially. Both of them have their own little interaction with him when they're naked, and they don't tell each other about it. Ever. And that kind of shows you that they're not really on the same page either, and they're constantly like, oh, one of them's like, oh, we need to go. And then the other one's like, no, let's stay. Mm-hmm. The other one's like, oh, we need to go. Oh, let's stay. So there's a lot of that going on. They are not on the same page at all. And that was interesting. I think that like the exploration of those social norms there is pretty cool in like this horror movie setting. We've seen a lot of this, we've talked about a bunch of movies before, like Zach Krieger's movies, Jordan Peele's movies a lot, like are interested in social mechanics as a way of conveying horror. Did you think this movie was scary?
It was like upsetting, I'd say.
It was brutal. You put it well in the beginning. It was a brutal movie.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I wouldn't say it was scary per se. I found myself bored a lot during this movie, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know about you, but yeah, no, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it is, you're watching people just, go through a vacation and kind of live their lives. There's not that much that kind of happens. There's weird stuff that happens. Like, for example, the Patrick character is really awful to the kid in the movie. Their kid's name is what's their kid? Abel. Yeah, their kid's name is Abel, who you learn later is actually not their child at all. He's been abducted by from another family.
So they can be mean to him.
So they can be mean to him, and that sucks. But
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Little, little torture porny for me. I'm just gonna say.
I think, I didn't feel that way, but I totally understand like someone watching this movie and going like, yeah, fuck that movie. Like I hated watching it. 'Cause yeah, it's pretty, especially the ending is just absolutely.
Oh, I mean, the ending just kicks in the 10th gear.
Yeah. So you want to talk about let's talk about the ending a little bit. So the ending of this movie differs from the American one in a very key way. Do you know how the American one ends?
Nope.
Okay. So in this Dutch movie, our main couple has their kid basically ripped away from them. They cut out the kid's tongue so she can't speak anymore, and they take her and they abduct her, and she's going to be their new kid. And the couple walks into this ditch, and the guy, our main character, asks, "Why are you doing this to us?" And Patrick says, "Because you let us."
Yeah.
And so they get stoned to death. Pretty crazy shit. Jason Blum saw that and was like, "Yeah, we're not doing that shit." So, and honestly, I think that the American adaptation does some things that are like, I don't know, it takes away from the original message of the original film. Like, because the American one is not nearly as brutal. The American family, takes their kid and they take the boy who's been abducted, and they all get away, and they're all, it's all,
That's like the most American thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yep. Jason Blum really was like, if the Americans were there, it wouldn't have gone that way.
They all live happily ever after.
Honestly, yeah. And I think like there's something to the statement. Like if you were like, yeah, I don't think that would go that way, and you did the American version, like that also, it's kind of funny when I put it like that, but it makes sense because there were so many times in the movie where I'm sure you were thinking like, yeah, I would have just left.
I'm out of there, yeah.
Yeah, or like I would have done that. Like he doesn't even have a gun or whatever. Like it's just like, fight back, bro. Like what are you doing?
They're Danish, bro. They're not allowed to have weapons.
No. So yeah, it's funny that in the American one, it's kind of like the glossy Blumhouse version where everything kind of like resolves itself at the end of the movie.
It's kind of like I don't know if you ever seen like with like posters for like kids movies in America versus like the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I saw one a couple weeks ago. It was like the poster for Toy Story, like the one where they're in Andy's room and like Buzz is flying away, Woody's holding on.
Yeah.
And, like in America, Woody's smiling. In like every other country on the planet, he's just angry.
Huh.
That's like a big thing, and
yeah,
it's in video games too. Where like I know Nintendo specifically, like with Kirby, will like have Kirby smiling, on American covers and like looking angry on like every other country.
Yeah,
and it's just funny because I didn't look up anything about the remake after I watched the OG here, but that's some Blumhouse shit. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's greatest country in the world. Nothing bad ever happens here. What you got to frown about?
Yeah,
it's all smiles here. Everybody's getting away from the bad guys. Speaking of America, honestly, like it's kind of interesting the way that like, obviously the two versions differ. Like the American one is also more about like Andrew Tate stuff. Like it's way more like this kind of, the original has some of it. Like it's kind of there. There's like a lot of like
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, like the bond between our Bjorn and Patrick is kind of like the way that they bond is very based in like, yeah, I'm like so unsatisfied with my life and like my relationship that like to basically like reclaim your masculinity, you need to go out to the top of a hill and scream at the top of your lungs and drink beers in a hot tub with your boys and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's all, it's all part of this. But in the American movie, that's like way dialed up with the James McAvoy character. It's very much like a like dominance thing. Like the "because you let me" line in the Danish movie is way more of like a
like the thesis.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like I think it's they're both part. That line is the most important part, the guiding light of both movies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But in the original Danish movie, it's way more about survival and like when you're confronted with like true evil, like how the world that you know sometimes doesn't make any sense when confronted with true evil. The American one is way more about dominance. Like, because you let me, like, I am going to rule over you. Like, I'm going to fuck with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like they're the same statement, but they mean very different things in different contexts. And I think that's interesting. I personally think that the Danish version is more interesting. They work in both. I think it works in both. But the idea of like everything kind of being worthless when shit hits the fan, like that idea is pretty interesting to me, I think. And that's not really as present in the American one. But yeah, no, what do you think of that idea specifically? And have you been in any kind of situations where maybe the way that you knew to interact with the world was maybe the wrong way to go in a given situation?
I can't think of any situations off the top of my head particularly.
Maybe not like this, but yeah.
No, definitely like this. Do you have one? That's been itching at you?
I mean, maybe not specifically, but I can think of like a bunch of different things as far as like for example, like we're talking about America right now, and think about what's happening in the government and in the world right now.
What's happening in the government right now?
Well,
something happening?
A lot of really great stuff.
Nothing's happening. The government shut down, dude.
Yeah, no, nothing is happening right now. But everything that is happening, you co-sign it. That's what we're saying here.
Me? I'm not about that, but
so yeah, thinking about like what's happening in the American government right now, where we basically have two parties. One is kind of like let's call it taking over the government right now, in they're fascist.
I was gonna say one. We can
takeover.
Just say it. One's being fascist.
Yeah.
And one's just being like, you can't be fascist.
Ignorant.
I'm not gonna do anything. Yeah.
And you think of that "because you let me" line, and it's like there's so many instances of "because you let me" just kind of like permeating throughout our culture right now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like that's why. I mean, it's been 10 months of this administration, and things have accelerated so far because like there's zero checks or balances.
No,
strongly worded letters and tweets and stuff aren't going to do it.
And we have a party or a leadership in this country that doesn't care about the law anymore. And what do you do when the people who have power in your environment, in your room, in your country, in your house, whatever, what do you do when those people throw out the rule book? What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to act like business as usual, do the things that you always do? Or do you fucking survive? That's really what it comes down to. If you are so married to your ideas of how the world is supposed to go, maybe you're not going to make it out. So, I don't know. I thought of that as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Um, another another little thing is I watched this. How did you watch this movie?
I pirated it, but I watched
Okay,
it on TV. Where'd you watch it?
I watched it on Tubi, and I don't know. Have you watched a movie on Tubi recently?
How recently is recently?
The last couple years.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if they're using like on Apple Music now, they have like this like auto mix feature, which I'm not a fan of, by the way, where they basically use AI to kind of like transition one song into another song really
Oh,
smoothly.
like crossfading?
Yes,
Or that's
but
what they
like,
call it on Spotify.
it's like crossfading, but it's not crossfading because it's like using AI to kind of like create sounds from one song in another song to
yeah.
transition to the other. And I don't know if they're using something like that to transition into ads on Tubi, but the transitions into ads during this movie were one of the best parts of the movie because it was fucking hilarious when you would get a shot of them kind of like standing in the bar and they're talking about like, you know, like picking up the bill or whatever. And they're like, the one guy looks up and he's like, hey, and then it transitions directly into an Underdog ad where it's like, yo, you could buy $5 and get $50 now if you put a bonus bets, all that stuff. And it transitioned like really perfectly in a way that was really, really funny, and honestly added to the experience. So shout out to Tubi for that. If you're going to put ads in it, make it funny when they fucking pop up and scream at you out of nowhere.
Dude, shout out Tubi in general. They like low-key they have a ridiculous library on there.
It's true. Yeah. And, you know, the ads are always kind of one of the worst parts about any kind of like free with ads service. But the ads on Tubi,
At least they're having fun with it.
exactly, they hit. I don't know if they're using like AI to like find a part in the movie that matches the colors and stuff and the sound or something, but
definitely.
It felt like perfect. It was like, boom, like,
you know why, Max? Because you let them.
it's my fault. It's my fault that society is the way it is right now.
It's all your fault, dude. I don't
I
know
know.
how you let it get this way.
Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done all that stuff. Shouldn't have done all that stuff and things that I did. Yeah, no, this movie also took a really, really long time to film. COVID movie, 2022 release. It took 7 weeks to shoot it, but it was spread out over 12 months, and the filming was stopped like 4 times.
Oh, I can't imagine, yeah.
So yeah, kind of a disaster there. And they're filming with kids, which is probably a little tricky as well. Like there's 2 kids involved. Also, another, I feel I kind of implied it, but I brushed over it. The American version, like the Abel, who's the kid in the Dutch version, the American version of Abel makes it out alive. Dutch
Right.
Abel doesn't make it out alive. So yeah, this is basically more upsetting in every way than the American version. But
This was I don't know. I didn't love this movie, but it was and like how upsetting it was. I don't like that. I've seen a lot of upsetting movies that I love.
yeah,
But yeah, this was just a really hard watch.
it is. I agree with, like, I think like I like the ideas a lot more
That's
than I
where
like
I'm at
the
with
actual
this.
movie.
I think a better script. This is like a horror all timer.
Yeah, I think like that's another thing too. Like the American version is longer. This was like a tight like 135.
Well, yeah, hour and a half about.
But it felt brisk to me, like as far as like how fast things were moving in the story. Maybe because I've seen the American one as well, and like by comparison, this
It
is
felt
like
so slow for me.
yeah, I can understand that too because it's you know it's just people hanging out in a house and being weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, let's do our could you beat this? Could you beat Speak No Evil segment? Do you think you could beat Speak No Evil? Do Patrick and Kareen from Speak No Evil? Are you
Might be
making
the
it out?
easiest, yes, so far. Because I'm just getting in the car and leaving.
Literally, all you have to do is
All you have to
overcome
do
that
is just
social
be
barrier
like-
and leave. Yeah.
You know, like if I'm changing and I see Patrick, you're just staring at me, I'm out of there.
Yeah. No, don't even
You know,
gotta say
it was
anything.
nice
to him.
meeting you. Thanks for the hospitality, yada yada. My dog's sick. I have
That's
a
what I-
meeting tomorrow. Whatever.
They wouldn't be able to check it if you said like, "Oh, my mom is dying. I gotta go." Like, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, I just looked that up on Facebook. Your mom is like in, you know."
Because we don't got that like European etiquette, you know.
Yeah.
We have like that Southern etiquette where you're still polite and all this stuff, but like if someone stares at you naked, you leave.
Yeah. You know, you gotta, know what's risky. You know what I'm saying?
What about you? Is this where would you rank this? With the, are you making it out of here or making it out of Leatherface easier?
I'm making it out of here. These guys didn't
Yeah,
even have weapons. Like, they
gotta
just
be
kind
this.
of like, yeah, they had scissors, which they cut, but they had to like restrain them for like 20 minutes. I also don't think, I don't know, maybe I'm just flexing a little bit here, but I don't think they could restrain me if I'm being quite honest with you. I'm too big and strong for that. Okay?
That fight or flight comes in, just you're like y'all are just normal people. You know?
I'm flipping the car. I'm flipping everything. Flipping tables. I'm out. So this is about as easy as it gets, I think.
Yeah.
What
Someone
were you gonna
throws
say?
a rock at me, I'm just throwing it back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not walking in no ditch.
You're not going like, oh,
Yeah.
like, bro, fight back.
Yeah. This whole
Um,
movie actually lives. Fight back! Fight
Yeah.
back!
The Americans, they made it out, so we would probably make it out too.
We always do.
Um, But yeah, no, let's do our letterboxed spotlight segment now as well to end
All right,
off
you go
here.
first while I pull
What?
up my letterbox.
All right, let me pull mine up. Okay. Okay, all right. I've got mine. Mine is a 4-star review that just says, "This just made me want to die."
I saw that one from Paul.
From Paul Thomas. Yes, Paul Thomas, patron on Letterboxd. Yeah. Shout out to Paul Thomas.
All right, I got mine. This is from the Day of the Dot.
Uh-huh.
Pro, not a patron. Pro versus hacker. I'm perfectly fine with never having friends.
Yeah, that's kind of the moral of the story is, yeah, I never make friends. So, yeah.
So that was anything else, or that was Speak No Evil?
Would you do this? Would you go on vacation with someone you just met? Like, let alone, like, let's say, like, not even on vacation. Let's say you meet somebody at, like, I don't know, in, like, a class or something like that. And you meet them one time. And they're like, hey, we're all going to another country, basically.
Met up once? No. If they were like, hey, we're gonna go bowling, or we're gonna go to a bar, or
That's different. That's different.
Yeah, I could get with that. But if I met someone once and they were like, hey, let's go travel the world together, no.
Yeah, I agree. And this
I
has
know
been Speak
people
No
I've known
Evil.
for 20 years that I don't know if I'd go travel the world.
Yeah,
with them.
you're not making the vacation list.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do this ever. I'm not that exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been Speak No Evil. Thank you for listening. And
Spook
sneak
No
in.
Evil.
Spook No Evil. Spook in with us next time